Yeah, Rivers here with some cool tech, and today I want to show you the Minix Neo G4 Android Mini PC. This guy's got a true 1.6 GHz dual-core CPU, quad-core Mali 400 graphics, 1 gig of DDR3 DRAM, 8 gigs of NAND flash, wireless 802.11b and N, HDMI 1.4a, and an IR remote control. Here you've got your OTG port for powering your G4 and connecting it to a PC. You've got your microSD card slot there and a full-size USB port here. Lots of holes for ventilation, and over here is a recovery button. That's for flashing new firmware onto it. And here's your full-size HDMI 1.4a port. Here's the included IR mouse. It's got a nice selection of buttons for controlling apps like XBMC, where you mainly just need to go up, down, left, right, select, and back. I think you might want something like an Air mouse or a wireless mouse to control other apps in Android though. Here you can see the remote works really good in XBMC. And this is a special version of XBMC that can play 1080p MKVs, and I'll show you a little bit more about that later. Let's go ahead and power up the G4 and see how it runs. Here's what you'll see when you first start it up. It's Ice Cream Sandwich 4.04. It's kind of plain, but it's nice and fast, and it's upgradable to Jelly Bean 4.11 later. I would actually recommend trying Ice Cream Sandwich for a little while and see if it runs the way you want it to, because it's nice and fast. Ice Cream Sandwich is always faster than Jelly Bean. It's been on all the Android Mini PCs I've tried, and even on my Samsung Galaxy S3. So give it a shot. These are all the apps you'll have the first time you start up your G4, except for Root Checker, LinPack, and I think YouTube. Everything else will come on it. And you might have noticed that camera icon up there. That usually means the developers have put webcam support into the ROM for the Android Mini. Both the video and audio seem to work pretty well with my webcam on these Android Minis, so I'll put a link to the camera in the video description. Aw yeah, this is Rivers with some cool tech. There's also a second launcher that comes with the G4, and that's this launcher right here, where you can just toggle around to where you want to go. And I think this is intended to be used with the remote that's included, so that's why you can just arrow where you want to go. This would work really good for apps like XBMC, which are made for using with remotes like this. I think this would be a great way to bring movies wherever you go and play them on a big screen TV. Just take the G4, a power cord, and this remote, and you can have 32 gigs of movies playing on your friend's big screen TV whenever you go over there. Next, I fully customized out the G4 the way that I like it, and what I did is I installed this My3DFish Live wallpaper. I've got these little panels here that are Launcher X Pro, so I can get all my apps that I commonly use right on the desktop, easy to see. And then I put the beautiful Widgets Live clock on there, and of course I'm running Go Launcher. Also, I flashed the firmware to the 0117 version, and that's a Jelly Bean firmware. It's not quite as fast as Ice Cream Sandwich, but they've added some new features like Xbox and PS3 controller support, long press power button off support, sleep timer, and an Ethernet option. Let's take a look at the options on the UI of this new update. So you've got back, home, volume up, volume down. This power button is nice. Click it quickly and it puts the screen into sleep mode. Hold it down and it gives you the option to shut down your G4. Screenshot option is now also available, and you need to go into the settings to enable that. Let's take a look at the CPU performance now. We'll go ahead and run LinPack on here. And before, when I was running Ice Cream Sandwich, it was getting about 71, 72. Now looking like about 62. So not too bad, but it did take a little bit of a performance hit. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the CPU specs on here. So this one's a 250 megahertz on up to 1.6 gigahertz. So it's got the full 1.6 gigahertz clock speed on here. A lot of these are clocked down, probably for stability, down to like 1.2, 1.4 gigahertz. It's also a Neon chip here, and it's got a full ARM instruction set. Here's all the rest of the specs. Let's go ahead and take a look at the settings on the G4. So we've got Wi-Fi, which works great by the way, and Ethernet if you use a USB to Ethernet adapter. Here's some of the display settings. So now we have a sleep mode, which just turns off the screen, which is actually really needed, and I love having it. And here's some more of the display settings. This, when you start out, you need to scale it up from the middle all the way up to the beginning, and then it stays. Got your 1080p resolution. And here's your screenshot settings, so just check that box if you want it to appear down on your taskbar. Honestly, I think they should have this on Android phones as well. This is a nice feature. Here's how your flash memory is partitioned out, and they do a great job by giving you almost 4 full gigs for just applications. Then the rest goes for storage and OS. And you can see my 32 gig SD card here. And here's the information about Android. It's 4.11. You can see the kernel and build information here. I'm going to go ahead and video call up my brother on Skype, and let's see how well the Neo G4 works compared to his MacBook Air. I think it does pretty well considering that it only costs about 1/10 of the price of a MacBook Air. So I told you I had a special version of XBMC for you, and this is where you get it. Go to xbmcandroid.com. First, download and install MX Player, then download and install either of the two Neon versions of XBMC. This allows XBMC to use MX Player while playing 1080p MKVs. So here you can see there's some extras also included with it. You've got ice films, Navi X built on here, and it does play the 1080p MKVs no problem now if they're local. They need to be off a USB hard drive or off the flash memory. Network is still not working, but it should be coming along soon. Here's a 1080p MKV video that I shot last summer, and it's playing nice and smooth. Here's my mobile HD movie party pack. So I've got my remote, my Neo G4 packed with 30 gigs of my favorite movies, power cable, and my USB to Ethernet adapter for those longer range HD streams. I'll put a link to the Minix Neo G4 in the video description down below, also a discount code so you can get the USB to Ethernet adapter and case for free. To wrap it up, the Neo G4 has a great hardware package and awesome software. The details in the software package is what makes it one of my favorite Android mini PCs. I especially like the sleep timer support and working power button on the G4. Also, the webcam support and screen capture button are very nice. There's also an option to hide and show the taskbar that's very useful. I'll put more information in the video description down below for my choice of the best ROMs for the G4. Also, if you want to root it, there'll be some information about that. The only thing that I asked is if you enjoyed this video to hit that little thumbs up button down there and give me a like. It'll really help me out a ton. And tell me what you thought about the video in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more Android mini updates and electronics updates. And as always, thanks for watching and aloha.